Hi, I am Pastor Roland Manugue, and here's my wife, Veronica. We are the senior pastors of Jesus Revival Church from Santos City, Nueva, Ecija. Two principles describe my journey into the G12 Vision. The first is the principle of connection. Of course, as Christians, we know that our connection to God through Christ is the most important of all. As branches, we do not bear fruit if disconnected from the vine. It is obvious that we need to be truly connected to God for life and fruits. But when we were introduced to the G12 Vision, I discovered a deeper meaning of the principle of connection. But I learned it the hard way, because during our first attempt to apply the vision, we depended mainly on the manuals, teaching tapes, and attendance to G12 conferences and conventions. We even had the encounters and the cells and the school of leaders, but we saw minimal results. Sometimes we have had some levels of growth, but I'm wondering why we cannot keep the momentum growing. But then, things began to dramatically change. Because one day, Bishop Frank Santos, one of the National 12, chose me to be one of his 12. He became my mentor, and I willingly submitted to his discipleship. He poured out his love and life to us, his 12, and my wife and I gladly opened our lives to his leadership. I vividly remember in one of his mentoring sessions, Bishop Frank, together with his wife Ate Edith, even washed our feet as Jesus did, and we felt the anointing of God flow upon us in new levels. Soon we were always there where Bishop Frank is. When he went to Baguio City, we were there. When he went to Davao City, we were there too. Also in Cebu and in Manila, and even in Singapore. As part of his 12, me and my wife felt we are one happy family. Then the church began to really grow, both in quality and in numbers. The power of connection began to bear fruits. Lately, we have also begun monthly mentoring to several churches here in San Jose, Nueva Ecija. I began to also form my 12 both inside and outside our church, and to do to them what my mentor did to me. Of course, my family was connected even better by the vision. My wife Veronica and I became closer, not only romantically but also practically in our working relationship.
Before, I thought my calling was to be a plain mother and wife who makes coffee and prepares food for my husband and his visitors coming to our home. But through the G12 Vision, my husband did not stop encouraging and believing in me. He appointed me then to be the Women's Network Coordinator. I completed my 12 and started to dream for a multitude of women who would also believe in God's call for them. In the past 5 years in the G12 Vision, I have seen women coming and being changed in the presence of God. Currently, I have more than 500 women in my network.
My eldest daughter Hazel is happily married. My two other daughters are very much in the vision. Jezreel is preaching while Evangel leads music in the youth ministry. My youngest child MJ, at 11 years of age, said he wanted to be a pastor someday.
The G12 Vision also gives importance to reaching out to, believing in, and passing the torch to the next generation. My parents have given me their blessing to pastor the youth of the church under their supervision and coaching. Truly, when God calls a pastor, He also calls the pastor's kids. From the 10 young people that I started to disciple in 2009, I now have about 500 young people in my network. From once-a-month youth gatherings with just an average of 30 young people in attendance, we now have 2 fully packed youth services every Sunday.
But the second principle that describes my G12 journey is the principle of results. G12 produces results, solid fruit and fruit that remains. Before the aforementioned connection, our church would plateau from 200 to 300 members. But now, we have an unbroken series of encounters, fully committed cell leaders who know the value of connection. I tell my cell leaders not to lead others, unless they are being mentored by somebody. Our School of Leaders is consistently producing more and more leaders, emphasizing winning souls and making disciples.
Presently, we have 4 services on Sundays, 2 for adults and 2 for the youth. And we have about 1,200 to 1,400 worshipers each week. And we feel we have just begun.
Truly, connection brings results, but only because of the blessing and the presence of God, who has promised to complete what He has begun in our lives. I am Pastor Roland,
And I am Veronica.
and we are proud to be a part of the worldwide G12 family.